Assassin's Creed is full of very interesting things in the games, but there are also certain facts about the games that are very interesting, so why don't we take a look at some of those? So here we are going to have 10 interesting Assassin's Creed facts. As if my fan couldn't get louder, I'm adjusting my audio settings accordingly. Oh, fuck's sake. In Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, there is a character in the Assassin Order called Niccolo Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli is an advisor and sometimes a mentor to Ezio, despite being younger. However, what's interesting that at one occasion, Niccolo Machiavelli remarks that he wishes to write a book about Ezio one day. Machiavelli actually did this. In a book titled The Prince, Machiavelli makes reference to certain personality traits exhibited by Ezio, most notably in the games, that were also remarked by Machiavelli. So Machiavelli did write a book about Ezio after all, but what's interesting is that Ezio's character is based off these personality traits referenced in Machiavelli's book, and it sort of swings around in a bit of a circle. Before Assassin's Creed was Assassin's Creed, it was intended to be a Prince of Persia game titled Prince of Persia Assassins. This demo bears similarities to Assassin's Creed 1, which means that Assassin's Creed was spawned from this Prince of Persia Assassins idea, and the entire franchise of Assassin's Creed is something of an accident. And after there was a movie last year, I'm inclined. The game intended to rely heavily on the co-op feature, which was only introduced in 2014 and was very quickly removed. So very easily could Assassin's Creed have never existed. According to Ubisoft, approximately 80% of named characters in Assassin's Creed 3 were historical figures. So the next time you see an old woman peering through a window in a house screaming the words, "Roger, where are you?" you'll know that there's an 80% chance that Roger was a real person. Initially, in Assassin's Creed 3, Connor was to be able to scalp his enemies, but it was later removed because it was too graphic. Although to me it just sounds like it would take a while, and that's probably more likely why it was removed, because they can get away with some really graphic shit in games these days. Witcher. No D. This next one will likely disappoint those rooting for an Assassin's Creed set in the World Wars, because apparently the writer Corey May stated that the Assassin's Creed franchise intends to explore a lot of historical periods, yet, however, the World Wars are not on that list. In other words, Assassin's Creed World War II will never be a thing. Now, apparently, the Assassin's Creed ending has already been written. However, we all know that Assassin's Creed is just going to be one of those franchises that is dragged out until nobody gives a shit anymore. In Assassin's Creed 3, you follow the story of a Native American called Radun Hagetun, or whatever, but he's also known as Connor. Thank fuck. The main protagonist is... Connor is actually voiced by an actor known as... Connor is voiced by an actor called Noah Watts, who is a descendant from the Native American tribe called the Blackfeet Nation, which means that Connor's voice actor is also Native American, or at least is a descendant of Native Americans. You know, I personally found that one to be cool. Ubisoft claimed that in Assassin's Creed every target you killed was historically accurate, right down to their real identity and the date that they were killed. However, it is notable that in the first game, Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed Syndicate most notably, this has been proven to be bollocks. The targets in Assassin's Creed Syndicate didn't even exist in real life. In Assassin's Creed 3, nobody interesting died in the American Revolution, so they had to change the dates. And in Assassin's Creed 1, they just changed the dates so that it all stayed in 1191. So the next time someone shows you this, you can say that that's wrong. You should also tell them to start listening to their history teachers more. After all, Assassin's Creed is a game franchise. Your history teachers are there to teach you history. Which one do you think is going to be more reliable? That's not to say everything in Assassin's Creed is inaccurate. In fact, a fair bit of it actually is quite accurate, but just don't rely on it as a source of history teaching. In Assassin's Creed 2, there is an Easter egg where when you are on the rooftops, you may hear a civilian say, "Another caped crusader." This is clearly a reference to Batman, however Batman did not exist in the 1500s that we know of, which makes you think, who is the other one? The worst thing I could do right now is overthink an Easter egg. So I'm going to move on. And finally we have the Jackdaw's original name. Before it was called the Jackdaw, it was called El Dorado, which means the golden one in Spanish. Like many other references to the Assassin Order involving avians, a jackdaw is a small black bird belonging to a crow family. Coincidentally, the colour of the bird's feathers themselves could be a reference to piracy, often being symbolised as black. Bravo, Edward, you have some very clever and coincidental naming skills going on there. And there you have it, everybody. 10 interesting facts about Assassin's Creed. Not that many of them were interesting. I mean, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, etc. And I'll see you all in the next one with another video. So, yes. Yeah.